Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Bree the Plant Lady, coming to you with a weekly garden tour from my home garden here in central North Carolina, Zone 7. We've had unusually warm weather until today, and now we have much cooler temperatures in the forecast. And we've actually had a good amount of rain, which has made quite a few things start to germinate. And I'm really excited to show you the progress on many of the beds that have been direct seeded. So let's take a quick stroll. Well, as you can see, I've still not done cutbacks. I did part of this bed. I did get the papyrus out, and you can see garlic is growing really well here, and just noticed there's a big bunch that needs to get divided and transplanted. So these are all on my list, but it's a busy week, you know, with the holidays coming up in a few days. The barley wall continues to look awesome. And these containers, it's amazing how container plants will jump with warmer weather. And they really are starting to fill in and look nice. Now, what I'm most excited to show you out here is in the front gardens. And you can really start to see a green hue everywhere. And that is the poppies germinating right there. Those are poppies. There's other things that are self-sowing. I think specifically I see bachelor buttons and larkspur. I've got Cubby here who wants to walk through the bed and be her seedling tour guide. Let me show you here. This is the larkspur. Okay, Cubs, that's good. And I believe this is bachelor button or centuria. But again, the main thing that I sowed in here, the only thing I sowed in here are poppies. And I'm really, really pleased to see poppy germination, because that's gonna be what makes this bed extraordinary in the spring. You know, right now it is so boring, it's painful. But between the several hundred daffodils and all those poppies, it's gonna look great. Now, we had a mishap, and a vehicle rode into the bed, and I've not done anything. I've just I think I'm just gonna leave it. We try not to do that, running into beds and all. Now, the other bed that I am so excited to show you is the wave. And I saw this 2 days ago. I was sitting on the couch, which admittedly I probably do a little too much of, but regardless. And I said, oh my God, I see green in the wave. And sure enough, the barley is germinating. So let me turn this around and show you. Look at those sprigs. That is the barley. Now, I don't see any poppies yet, but they take a little bit more time. So I bet by next week, the poppies will be germinating. See, I have like a cat parade happening here. So I'm just so happy to see this. I have not gotten the rest of this bed dealt with, which is like from the hammock over, but I will. I know I will. I'm not gonna stress myself out. It's the holidays. You gotta garden when you get the chance, and now weather plays a big role in that. And speaking of just general garden tasks, I used to cut all this stuff down much earlier, like now. I'm kind of planning now to just wait and do this maybe like January, February. I want to cut it down before any of it starts to grow actively, but I don't really mind the look of these plants in dormancy. I think my opinion of letting things be natural is evolving, like all things, and I'm becoming a bit more tolerant of this kind of winter messy look. We'll see how long that lasts. I think probably once I pull the push mower out and I start mowing patches of phlox down, I'll probably go crazy and do it all. But in the moment, I'm just taking it in stride, and I actually think that, you know, it provides some level of interest at this season. I wanted to show you, this is a Prunus incisa, and I don't think that this is Kojo no Mai. I don't remember the variety name. I don't think it's Kojo no Mai, but it always blooms at this time of year. It also blooms in the spring. It looks so pretty when the sun shines through it. And so that's kind of a fun treat to have blooming. But wait until you see the winter sweet that's blooming over here. So last week I was showing you the beautiful fall foliage, which is mostly fallen now. Need to get the lawnmower out. And here, this is the best that my winter sweet has ever looked. This is the most flowers I've ever had. I need to come out and prune some so I can bring them indoors to enjoy this fragrance. 10 years in the ground, and it's like really in full bloom now. I love it. I love it so much, words can't even describe how much I love winter sweet. Sweet little camellia brie just keeps on going. This is a floriferous plant, and look at all the buds still to open. It's a seedling from Yume that my friend Jean Phillips, the owner of Jean's Nursery, introduced. And I don't know if it's available or not, but if you're interested, you should Google it. All right, in the side property bed, I don't see any seed germinating yet. I of course see things like vetch growing, because vetch is so capable. And the garlic that I planted is starting to pop up. So again, I think it's gonna probably be another week before I see germination in this bed. And coming around here, I did sow poppy seeds very messily all along this border, thinking it doesn't matter if they germinate in the pathway, but I also did it in all of these containers. And I didn't do anything. I mean, I literally didn't do any sort of prep whatsoever. So it'll be interesting to see what they turn out to be. I'm sure they'll germinate and grow. I have no question. People often ask if you can grow poppies in containers. And I mean, you can. You want to make sure they're deep enough so that they can establish a taproot. But I've had poppies accidentally grow like in these big root pouches, and they've done perfectly fine. I'm walking around here to the back of the fire pit bed. All these containers look great. Of course, those big pots of barley, that is the little cat's favorite thing in the whole world. Cubby's chasing her around the garden today. You can see this kale has really grown a lot in a week, and I'm about to start harvesting it. These leaves are so delicious. Oh my gosh, they're so tender. They're such good flavor. I mean, they're definitely better that size versus eating them that size. These are much tougher. I'd recommend like sauteing these or chopping them very fine. And I've been wanting to make a funny video about these huge daikon radish that I've sort of been ignoring, and they're crazy. Like, it's really hard to get the camera in here. You see that root? And it's like curved. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna try and make a fun boomerang or something for Instagram, harvesting all of these and see what they actually look like. These beds just continue to look better and better. The mustards have really grown a lot. And I use those not only for cooking, but also in cut flower arrangements. They look nice and they last a long time. You can see how these poppies have grown a lot over the last couple of weeks. This border is gonna be so pretty in the spring. And the succulent table Violas, I love these so much. I see these from my office window, which is right there. This makes me very happy to see. And the floating flowers, these are a week old. Even with rain, they just are really long lasting at this season. That's why I do them now and not through the summer, because in the summer they would just, the water gets too hot and then it gets algae and there's a lot of work. But in the winter season, floating flower arrangements are great. And they provide a source of water for wildlife, including Cubby, who likes to drink from them. So I still don't have any harvestable brassicas, which I'm super irritated about. And I obviously need to, well, with cold weather, no, look at that. Even with temperatures in the 20s, these doggone cabbage worms are relentless. There you have it. That's my main, not my main way, but when I see them, I squish them. My in-laws were over yesterday and they were like, well, we don't have any broccoli that's ready to harvest either. I think we all take solace when all of our successes and failures are similar. That's probably why I like to show my failures so much. And we did get a very much needed inch of rain, mostly yesterday, a little over an inch actually. And we have rain in the forecast for tomorrow. So slowly but surely, we're gonna make up for a very, very dry fall that we had. And I did get this cleared, and I did not record it because I actually did it in the dark. I just was so anxious to get this cleaned up. I need to re-stake the arch. And you can see these just aren't really quite tall enough. So I actually have some taller pieces of electrical conduit that those are probably going to be more like up to here. And then I'll zip tie this to that because you see how floppy it is. And that's because it doesn't have appropriate staking. So that's an easy fix. I just need to come out here with my hammer and get it done. October Magic Bride is actually a mid-December Magic Bride. And it's so beautiful right now. Oh my gosh, I saw it from my kitchen window this morning and oh, it's just breathtaking. Of course, it's like 3 weeks in a row now I've been saying, I'm gonna get to this bed. I haven't done anything over here. But I will. I know I will. It's gonna get done. It always does. I just actually have to do it. It looks like Nucio's Cameo Camellia japonica is about to start to bloom, which is awesome. It's probably going to be impacted by the cool temperatures in the forecast, but hopefully it'll still flower. It's such a beautiful plant. And you can see we're really into camellia season at this stage. I showed you these last week. This is just one of my favorites. Bred by one of my favorite people. I actually just talked to Bobby Green earlier today. He's such a great plantsman and an amazing camellia expert. And, you know, for those of you who don't live where you can grow camellias, I'd recommend visiting the southeast throughout the winter season so that you can enjoy these blooms. They are really terrific. But again, I have to show you the Camellia Brie. Ooh, look, compared to a week ago, this has a lot more color. So this one, which I think is Helen Beach, named for the mother of a dear friend of mine, Miles Beach. And there's Camellia Brie still blooming her head off. Of course, now is the season when you really start to appreciate Edgeworthia because you start to notice all of those flower buds look incredible. They've dropped most of their foliage and now it's really just the countdown to see when they bloom. It's usually sometime January, late January, February. So we'll see. They're tight bud now, but week after week we will start the Edgeworthia countdown. Now I'm showing you this to hold myself accountable. I have to deal with this weed immediately. This is that Velcro weed and it sticks to everything, especially my cat's fur. And I know it's native, it's edible, blah, blah, blah. I don't grow it. I don't want this plant taking over my property. So I've got to come in and deal with that. You see, it's just sort of like naturalized in this bed, and I don't want that to be the case. And I've been on kohlrabi watch. Not all of them are producing the modified stem. Like this one is the perfect kohlrabi, and I'm gonna harvest that today. But many of them are still looking like that, and I'm a little nervous that they won't establish properly, but I'm gonna leave them in the ground and keep my fingers crossed. Of course, more cool crops over here. Nothing's ready. Just hoping, oh yes, look you guys. Finally, like I was actually starting to wonder, like, did I plant collards by accident? All right, we will have broccoli. Probably not until 2022, but there will be broccoli. And let's check out over here. Oh yeah, they're tiny, but they are in there. All right. See, hope springs eternal. You just have to be a little bit more patient than me. And one thing that I wanted to share is this Jasminum nudiflorum that has started to bloom. And generally that happens now, and then it'll bloom sporadically throughout the month of January. And usually when we get warm days in February, all the buds will open, and everybody always confuses this with forsythia, but it's not. This is Jasminum nudiflorum, and it actually flowers without foliage, hence the species name nudiflorum, bare branches. And behind me you can see that the house is in process of being painted. We are gonna have this as a white house with black accents, sort of modern farmhouse appeal. And so that is a pretty exciting moment. You see it's all plasticed off, and hoping that maybe the crew will probably not get here before Christmas again, but maybe between Christmas and New Year's. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's tour, and I look forward to sharing more updates, and I'm wishing you all the best for a safe and happy and healthy holiday season with your friends and family. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.